Hey there, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I want to go over 3 designs that I have made for the Ford Maverick. I have several designs that I've been working on for different types of campers, from truck campers to trailers and teardrop trailers, but specifically with the Ford Maverick in mind, I have come up with 3 different designs, 2 of which are truck campers and 1 that is a toy hauler trailer that you can tow behind the truck. All the designs that I make them on my iPad, and so I'll just record the screen and walk you through each of the different models and share them with you. And I'll try to be careful because I know I could talk about campers for hours. So with that in mind, I'll try my best to stay on point and get there quickly. Also, I would really like to hear your feedback, so please drop a comment on the different designs and stay tuned. I started recording and I started getting way too into detail already, so I'm going to try this again and try to be quicker this time. So this is the main Maverick Camper, and we'll call it version 2.0. This is the similar model that I built last year, but I've changed a few things for this year. You can see 5 different views. The bottom left is looking on top of the roof. The middle here is looking down into the camper from a top view perspective. This is looking from the rear of the camper and seeing what's going on there. And then the top 2 is looking into the camper. So if you were sitting inside the camper, with the truck there being that direction, that's what you'd see on the opposite wall. So we'll go ahead and start here with the top-down view. First thing, you walk in the door here, and to your left, I've moved the kitchen to the opposite side because it would be better for the microwave above for the direction that the microwave opens up. And so you can see we've got the kitchen counter space here. This dotted rectangle represents the DC fridge that sits on the floor below. That's also why this countertop is angled, and it also helps give it better support. Then this represents a 7-gallon water jug, which is a little bit larger than the 5-gallon jug I used on the last camper. And then this up here is for the microwave. And then looking along here is extra storage space for little doodads and a place to put extra food. Same thing on the opposite side. And then I've also added on the right side now a little storage cubby, which also doubles for extra counter space on top. When you enter into the camper, 2 people can sit down here on the left and here on the right, below the storage shelf above. Also, these 2 sections here represent a little step. Because the seats are higher, it allows your feet to rest up higher to make it more comfortable, and they also double for extra storage space below. Then you see this little circle here that I've put. It's a 6-inch circle, and this dotted line going down. That represents the temporary bed structure, and I put this hole there to represent a cornhole board because I thought it would be fun to just punch a hole in there, and then now it can be a double use and we can take it outside to play cornhole toss on it. So this is where the 3rd person sleeps. 2 people can sleep up above the cab over section up here, and that's the top-down view. Now also looking here, this dotted line here represents the angle on the front of the cab over where it meets the roof. And on the rear, you can see this overhang. It's a 10-inch overhang, which I always like to add on my campers just to kind of give a little porch type area. Then you can see these dotted lines on all 3 sides with these little triangle things. Those are to represent anchor points to hook up a little 6x8 foot tarp. And so if I could have up to 3 tarps all at the same time, that would provide shade on all 3 sides of the camper. The way I would support those is with PVC pipes to extend them away from the camper And if you've ever been camping, you know shade is very important. So that's what's going on there. Okay, then quickly moving over to the rooftop here, we've got two 100-watt solar panels, and with an option to lay down a third folding 110-watt solar panel here. These 4 boxes here also represent a 200-watt folding solar panel. So in total, I could have up to 500 watts of solar on the roof, but permanently affixed are these 100-watt panels here. This section here represents a sky hatch, or however you want to call it, but it's roughly 3.5 feet long by almost 2 feet wide. And so then you could poke your head up through here, or the main thing that I'm after is being able to lie in bed and look up to the sky and see the stars if it's a clear night. And then there's also for fresh ventilation as well. Okay, now moving to the rear of the camper, you can see here kind of what I had in mind with the tarp design. You can have the tarp coming at this angle or this angle, and then you could also attach another tarp to the other side to kind of prevent a wall if the sun is directly shining that way. Then these dotted lines represent PVC pipes going out to support them. You can see the door here is more on the right side, and it's a little bit up off the ground just for structural reasons, but I'm not fully decided on having the door up so high because I know that would be an annoyance to come in and out with the with having to lift your feet up every time. Anyways, you can see this dotted line here also represents the fridge inside on the floor. These are the anchor points on the outside to attach it to the truck. Right here represents the counter cubby storage on the right side. This one's on the left side. This is the water jug. This is where the microwave and the extra storage shelf goes. Extra storage shelf on this side with some more cubby space for the power station and whatnot. This solid line rectangle represents the air conditioner, which I like because when you open the door from left to right, then it blocks the air conditioner as you enter the camper. This left box, I know there's a lot of lines going on here, but this left box with this circle represents a diesel heater that will be mounted on the outside but will heat up the interior of the camper. I've also considered adding a window underneath the cab over on the back wall back there, so I am thinking about that, but this right here represents a little table that can flip up if desired. So there's that. So that's that view. Then looking at the truck with the camper on the truck, that's kind of the proportion that it looks like. And we can see on this side we've got the air conditioner here. You walk in, this is that extra storage cubby space and countertop on top. Above it we have the power station with an access port for an extension cord coming in or out, as well as the solar panels coming in to charge the power station. This is some extra storage space. Right here is a place for paper plates to be stored, and this also represents a little fan that could be hung there. This is the window. This is the window here, and this is where someone would sit with their head right about here. And this is that extra long storage space area that goes up there. And then this is the window that I'm considering putting in. And this is where the 2 people can sleep above the cab area. And then on the roof, these represent the solar panels, and this represents the sky hatch. Below also represents the steps, so someone would be sitting here with their feet on top. And then this represents the folding step stool with fire extinguisher that are mounted on that side. Then on this side, we can also see the solar panel and sky hatch on top. This is where the microwave will sit. The paper towels will be right next to that. The extra storage shelf here. The window area, nice large windows on both sides. That same step, someone sits here with their head up here. This is a 7-gallon water jug with silverware tray below and electric skillet storage spot below. This is the kitchen cubby storage with the countertop on top, and this is the 12-volt DC fridge below that. So, all in all, that is the current design that I have for the main Ford Maverick truck camper, version 2.0. So let's go ahead and move on to the second truck camper that I've designed for the Maverick. So once again, there's 5 different designs here. This one I'm calling the mini Maverick camper, and this one is designed for 2.5 people. And I say half people because I have a nephew that will be coming camping with us, and this will provide a space for him to sleep when he comes. Let's start with the top down view as well. So this camper is 4 feet wide by 6.5 feet long. And similarly, you can see these dotted lines with the triangles on the outside, and that's for a tarp to be placed for shade. And you can also see the overhang for this porch to create a little porch for the camper. On this one, we have the door more on the left side when you walk in, so the door opens right to left, and immediately you can see that same cornhole design concept that I have. This camper is very small. If you've something similar that you could look up is Capri campers. Their cowboy model are cab overless campers that you don't stand up inside. They're 5 feet tall on the inside, and they're really cool. So they're super lightweight. They would provide better fuel economy on the freeway and whatnot. There's definitely some pros and cons to a mini truck camper like this. But for people to sleep, the idea is to have 2 people sleep from head to toe, lengthwise here. So over here will be 1 bed, and then here is a second temporary bed with the cornhole board being placed to make it a 2-person camper. So when you first walk in, this board obviously won't be here, and 2 people can sit opposite of each other right here. And over here there will be a temporary bed support above this, and so you can just lift the support up and expose the fridge right here, the same one that's in the other camper, and this is extra storage space. There's more storage space here, and this represents a little porta potty toilet that can be pulled in or out. So that's the top down there. If we look at on the roof, those same 100-watt solar panels mounted here with a sky hatch here, a little bit smaller, that you can open up and set down to be able to look at the stars or have extra ventilation. Then going over to the rear of the camper, we can see the anchor points on the left and right, the door size here, the diesel heater, the air conditioner, and this dotted line represents the storage shelf inside that I'll show you. And this represents the half bed for a child. It's 18 inches wide by 4 feet long. And so top down, he would be sleeping this direction. So our heads would be down here with our feet underneath that board. And if you're thinking cramped, yes, definitely. But if it's just for sleeping, and we live outside, that's okay. So then moving up to this view, if you look inside the camper, here's the main things of what's going on. So you can see that fridge here down below, storage space, porta potty, and extra storage space behind. This represents a potential window that I'm considering putting in that front side. These dotted lines represents 3-inch foam cushions. This line also represents that extra bed for my nephew, which also can be used as a cooking area as well. So, like during the day and whatnot, the bedding can be removed, and we could set up an electric skillet and cook inside there if needed. So then up top, we've got the power station up on the left here, and below that there's the paper plate and paper towel dispensers below. Then we've got the microwave next to that, and this is extra storage space for food or gear, and then that 7-gallon water jug on the right side. And then this little section below represents where this bed can be placed during storage, and so it'll be completely out of the way unless we need to just pull it out and set it up here for cooking or for sleeping. Then the last view is looking at the side angle, so we can see the truck in perspective with the camper, and then we can see the tarps coming out of the rear. And if we're looking at the side view here, we can see those 2 solar panels up on top of the roof. There's 2 windows on both sides and a potential third one up here, so that would be 3 windows in the camper. We can see this dotted line represents the air conditioner, and this one represents that diesel heater. And then this dotted line represents that temporary third or half bed. Paper towels, paper plates, and up here is that extra storage space cubby. So when you go inside this camper, it's 5 feet tall. You can't stand up inside of it. It's very small, but it would offer higher fuel economy and much less storage space needed to store the camper. And then when you go inside the camper, you can sit down, 2 people on either side with their heads up in this area by the windows. And that's the mini Maverick camper. So lastly, we'll move on to the Maverick Toy Hauler, is what I'm calling this one for now. We have multiple views going on here, but let's just start with the top down. There's a lot going on here. So this circle represents the ball, and it's this camper is built on a 5 by 8 foot trailer, and it's designed to sleep up to 4 people. You also cannot stand up inside of it, but you can bring your ATV with you. I know there's a lot going on here with this design, but I'll try to explain my best and be quick about it as well. Looking at the top down here, the main section of the camper is corner there, and it comes all the way up to here, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet long. So with this camper, I'm planning on building out 1 foot over the front of the trailer. So it's a 5 by 9 camper on a 5 by 8 frame, if that makes sense. So we've got back here, this is the main hatch that lifts up, and then I'll place ramps below, and that's how the ATV can drive on up inside. And you can see these dotted lines here that go around inside. Those represent a small and full-size ATV, a Honda Recon and a Honda Rancher. And so that's the space that they would take up inside the camper. Then we can see on the wall here, we have beds, these 2 beds. This one is longer than this one because right here is the entry door that comes right here. And so this one had to be a little bit shorter, but they fold up against the wall so they can be out of the way. Looking up at the front, when you walk into the camper, right to your very right side, you've got a 7-gallon water jug with your power station located next to it, your DC fridge, and the diesel heater located here. And on the exterior on this side is where the air conditioner would be located. This circle represents a porta potty, and then looking at this angle here up at the front, you can see this little hatch opens up. And as we look at the other views, you'll see it better. But it opens up, and I designed it so this can be either an indoor or outdoor kitchen, which I think would be awesome because it's much better ventilation, especially for cooking, and you don't get the inside camper as dirty if you're outside while you're cooking, and more people can gather around. Also, when the truck is hooked up to the trailer, you can drop the tailgate and sit on the tailgate while you're cooking, which would be cool as well. And kind of to show that a little bit more, this box here represents the truck. This dotted line represents the tailgate. And then this dotted line represents that hatch. And so you could be sitting on the tailgate while cooking off the camper. Then looking over here, this is looking at the roof. The two main solar panels here with option for a folding solar panel to be placed there for extra power. So that's what's going on with that view. If we look at this view, this is if you're standing inside the camper looking towards the front, towards the hitch of the trailer. So you can see the air conditioner on the left, diesel heater at the bottom, and then we've got extra storage spots on the left there. We've got the fridge here, power station, water jug, microwave on the floor, and a little extra storage here. And then this is a wall. So the only exposed area is this that would go directly outside. And there would be either a sheet or a screen that we would put up to cover it if we didn't want like bugs and other, if we didn't want bugs coming inside. This represents the two solar panels on top. That's everything going on there. Looking at this view, this is a similar view, but this time we're looking from the truck or from the hitch side into the camper. And so this is what we would see if we were cooking. So the hatch would be open, and with that wall here, this would be extra storage space here, paper plates, paper towels, extra counter space. This is exposed going into the camper, diesel heater down here, fridge, extra storage space going on here. And then same view, but further into the camper. This represents the smaller Honda Recon four-wheeler, and this one represents the larger Honda Rancher that fit inside the toy hauler. And there's some shelving up top on either side, and this is where the beds are. Okay, now looking at this view, this is probably a lot more helpful. So you've got the trailer here. It's 5 feet wide by 8 feet long, the trailer frame, plus an extra foot for building out the camper. So when you first walk in, you've got two windows up on the top left and right, solar panel there, the front hatch that opens up here, and an extra storage shelf here for extra counter space here. You got the fridge, and this is where you would access everything in the kitchen. And this hatch up here would give you some sun protection, and if it was raining, would also help protect you that way as well. And you can see this is the main hatch on the back that opens up for the ATV to go up inside. And we've got the front tongue jack and two rear stabilizer jacks to stabilize the camper. Then if we look at this side, this represents a 6 foot tall person, just to see how close they would be to the top of the hatch. And we can see the microwave, the water jug on the inside, paper plates, and extra storage here. Smoke alarm, two windows on either side, extra storage shelf in the middle, another bed here, and the door is right here. And do keep in mind, you cannot stand up inside this camper, but you can bring your toys and you can sleep four, which when you're sleeping, as long as there's plenty of ventilation, you don't need to be standing up and whatnot. Which, of course, there are several benefits to being able to stand up inside of a camper, but for the main goal being weight savings and fuel economy, this works out well, because you can also have a lower clearance wherever you go, so you can go through drive-throughs or under bridges or even a garage for storage and things like that. Anyways, I know that was a lot in a short amount of time, lots of details, and probably really hard to understand from your point of view as you're watching this video. I hope I covered as best as I could. If you have any questions, please let me know. Those are the 3 campers that I have in mind for building for the Ford Maverick, and I've analyzed like how much they would weigh and how much the Maverick can tow and haul itself, because that definitely is limiting. But yeah, so please let me know your thoughts, and who knows, maybe I'll build all 3 of these. Only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you appreciate this video. Please leave me some comments and let me know your feedback of what you think, or if you have any questions. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.